For nearly a decade, Theodor Morell served as Adolf Hitler's trusted personal physician, a man whom the Führer praised and honored extensively. However, Morell's medical acumen was later called into question when it became apparent that he had failed to promptly diagnose a critical condition that would ultimately mirror the downfall of the Third Reich itself. This debilitating illness not only debilitated Hitler, but also foreshadowed the crumbling of his empire. As World War II approached its final stages, the German war machine was disintegrating. The last remnants of SS and army units fought fiercely, but their efforts were increasingly desperate. In Berlin, Hitler sought refuge in an expansive concrete bunker beneath the Reich Chancellery. It was in this underground fortress that Hitler isolated himself, only emerging occasionally for propaganda purposes. One of his last public appearances took place in 1945, when he decorated young members of the Hitler Youth, who were expected to defend the collapsing Reich. In this event, Hitler attempted to project an image of control and authority. However, a portion of the footage from this occasion was deemed unsuitable for public viewing. Hitler's movements appeared unsteady, and he exhibited signs of shaking, a symptom he could no longer suppress. While attempts were made to destroy the footage, it managed to survive and was later discovered in the 1970s at an East German film laboratory. This recovered footage, now a historical artifact, uncontrollable tremors, and marked one of the earliest visual indications of his struggle with Parkinson's disease. The historian Richard Evans has extensively documented the progression of Hitler's illness. According to Evans, Hitler first exhibited symptoms of Parkinson's during the war. Initially, he experienced a tremor in his left hand, which for a brief period seemed to subside after the assassination attempt on July 20th, 1944. On that day, a bomb was detonated in Hitler's conference room, killing several officers but leaving the Führer with only minor injuries. In a macabre twist, Hitler even joked that the bomb had cured his shaking. However, the respite was short-lived. Soon, the tremors returned, this time affecting his right side. His condition began to deteriorate noticeably as the war drew to a close. Aside from the physical symptoms, Hitler's behavior also began to change. He would shuffle as he walked, dragging his feet in a manner inconsistent with the energetic figure he had once presented. His speech, too, altered significantly. Hitler, once known for his fiery oratory skills, started speaking in a more monotonous, flat manner. This diminished tone was occasionally interrupted by intense bouts of rage, during which he would briefly resemble his former self. Yet these moments were fleeting, underscoring the toll the illness had taken on him. The evolution of Hitler's condition can be traced through newsreel footage captured over the years. In films from 1940, he appears upright, agile, and in command, a stark contrast to his physical state by 1944. By this time, Hitler appeared stooped, visibly slower, and his condition was becoming increasingly difficult to hide. Dr. Morell, who had noted Hitler's tremors as early as 1941, initially dismissed them as symptoms of stress. It wasn't until the final days of the war, as the extent of Hitler's decline became undeniable, that Morell arrived at a conclusive diagnosis: shaking palsy, known today as Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is a progressive neurological disorder that primarily affects movement, but can also impair cognitive functions. The disease is characterized by a loss of muscle control, leading to tremors, rigidity, and difficulties with balance and coordination. As Hitler's condition advanced, it further complicated his ability to lead, both physically and mentally. Witnesses, however, have reported that despite the ravages of Parkinson's, Hitler's mind remained sharp until the end. This claim has fueled much historical debate, as some argue that his physical decline might have indirectly influenced his strategic decisions and contributed to the eventual downfall of the Nazi regime. While it's speculative to suggest that Parkinson's alone altered the course of the war, the disease undeniably affected Hitler's capacity to project strength, both to his inner circle and the German people. The physical symptoms he experienced became symbolic of the deteriorating state of the Third Reich. His once commanding presence was replaced by a frail and faltering figure, hidden away in an underground bunker as his empire collapsed around him. In the end, the delayed diagnosis and treatment of Hitler's illness underscored the shortcomings of Dr. Morell's medical practices and perhaps reflected the broader dysfunction within Hitler's inner circle. As Berlin fell and the war concluded with Germany's surrender, Hitler's deteriorating health became yet another piece in the complex puzzle of the Nazi regime's demise. Ultimately, the story of Hitler's battle with Parkinson's disease serves as a reminder that even the most powerful individuals are not immune to the frailties of the human condition. The footage, uncovered decades after the war, provides a haunting glimpse into the final days of a dictator who, despite his outward displays of control, was succumbing to forces beyond his command.